Hello, welcome back to my video log of my running streak. Today is day number 5002. We're here in New Jersey. It's 36 degrees and windy, so I'm staying in the woods on the trails to record this so I don't have wind noise. Ran 5 miles, not fast, probably low 8s per mile, which I've been running slowly ever since I hurt my knee last year. So it's been a long recovery when you don't take days off. It takes much longer to recover when you have an injury. So I decided I wanted to make this video log of my running streak, see if I could make it to 20 years. And so I'm going to start documenting it. So I sent out the first few videos to my friends and family, see what they thought of it. And they were all like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. But I had one friend who asked a million questions, which was good because, it's good to get feedback. So she had a lot of questions because she's not, unlike all the other people in my family and a lot of my friends, she's not in the running community. So she doesn't know all of the things that we take for granted that we know. And so she asked like a million questions, rapid fire. I said, all right, I'll answer them, and I'll answer them in the videos. Maybe one by one. She's someone who I've been trying to get out and get in shape. She needs to get in shape herself. And I told her to start a running streak, but I just tell her to walk because she's not a serious runner. And one of the things that I encourage her to do is to just get out every day and just walk. I tell her, just walk to the end of the street and back. That's all you have to do for the day. And once you get your clothes on, you get your running sneakers on, you get your sweatshirt on, you're out the door, you walk down to the end of the street, you're already out. So the chances are that you'll keep walking because you're already doing it. So you'll stretch it out and then you'll get a good workout. But the hardest part is just getting going, starting it off. And that's one of the things that I like to do whenever I have to get up real early to run. Like if I have a long day of work and I have to run at like 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the morning, I just get up and I just don't even think about anything. Just throw my clothes on and tie my shoes and get out the door and just start. Even if it's like super duper slow, just start my body moving, and then your mind will catch up, and then you're like, okay, I'm in the mindset, and then you're out there working out, and then you get your whole workout in. So it's funny that my one friend who asked me all these questions, it reminded me of a skit from Saturday Night Live back in 1984. It was called Hello Trudie, starring Jim Belushi, and Edwin Newman was the guest, I remember, a guest host. And the skit was he sits on the couch like an Oprah or a Donahue type show, and he takes calls from the audience, more like, I guess, Larry King. And the running joke is the name of the show is Hello Trudie, and it had a theme song, do 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 do, hello Trudie, do 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 do, hello Trudie. And the only person who calls in is Trudie. She's the only one watching. And it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus doing the voice. And she just calls in with stupid questions and asks like, is the guest wearing a hairpiece? Or, I don't like the way he looks, can you punch him? And Jim Belushi's like, oh, I'm sorry, Edwin Newman, I have to punch you now because Trudie asked me to, and she's our only viewer. And Edwin Newman's getting all annoyed. And he's like, why are you putting up with this? And he's like, stop, don't get Trudie angry, she's our only viewer. So my only viewer is Trudie out there. So I'm going to make these videos and answer all our questions. So today, Trudie's question was, how far do you run? How do you know how far you run? And I said, well, I've been doing this so long, over 40 years I've been running, you kind of get a sense of pace. I can go out running and start my watch and then not look at it and then think to myself, well, I feel like I've been out for about 22, 23 minutes, and you look at your watch and you're pretty close. You might be off by a minute or two, but you pretty much know, you get a feel for it. So you know time because you've been doing it so long. And then distance, you know distance because, well, I run around my neighborhood, so I know how far everything is. I measured out with a measuring wheel at least 3 courses out from my house. So I have the quarter miles, half miles, and miles out from my house, so I know where the mile markers are. So when you start out running, you hit those marks and you can figure out what pace you're on, and you know on your run if you're going to be speeding up or slowing down. So you're in the zone. So usually your first mile is slower and you pick it up as your run goes along. Also, there are these websites, Track My Run and Run Tracker, which use satellites, and so you could just like draw a line. You get on the map and you could pull a line through your neighborhood and see where you ran, and it'll show you all the mile markers and how far the whole run was. Now, I've done that, a couple of those sites, and I've backed it up with the wheel, and I've backed it up with the car, because sometimes you drive around with a car and measure out something to get a pretty rough estimate of a run, if you want to do that too. But sometimes because you're going around turns and you're in the street instead of on a sidewalk, so the car isn't always as accurate as the wheel is or the satellite is. But I like to go on the wheel. And then what I do is I pad it. So if I'm not sure, I'll just run a little extra. And so probably when I write down in my logbook what I did that day, it's probably more times than not a little extra. So if I say today I ran 5 miles, it's probably about 5.1, because I'll do a little jog at the end. Sometimes I do a little jog at the beginning just to loosen up my legs, and before you want to jump it right into your pace, because sometimes you're a little tight from the run before, or if you've been doing some heavy lifting or something. But for Trudie out there, just do time. Don't worry about distance or mileage. When I tell Trudie to go out and run or walk, I tell her to walk. For exercise, I try to stay out for an hour. If you have to slow down, fine. If you have to stop and rest, fine. But get out there and stay for an hour. If you can do a half hour, that's good too. And get one of these, which is a stopwatch. Today's top tip: if you get a girl's stopwatch, it's a lot cheaper. This is an Ironman. The girls' watches are cheaper and they still do the same thing. So this was $10 less than the men's watch. So who cares if it's purple and smaller? Who cares? It still does the same thing. So I run with a girl's watch and I saved $10. So tomorrow we're going to find out what Trudie's next question is, and we'll answer that probably when we run about 4 miles tomorrow, because as I said, I'm still hurt with the knee, so I don't try to push the mileage, and we'll see it tomorrow.